Hey you. Yeah, you. Love the show and want more content? Want to be part of some of our hilarious adventures? Ever wish you could be part of the squad and team up with us in our fight to save the galaxy? Well, now you can. Head over to multiplayersquad.com and check out some of the awesome benefits we offer to our official squad mates. We offer a ton of extra ways you can interact with us and the show. We certainly aren't above bribery to earn your support, but we think you'll love all the extras that come with supporting this independent podcast. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. Now on to what's sure to be our greatest episode ever.
All right, guys, let's make this a smooth podcast. In and out, no screw-ups. We've been training for this. We have the intelligence, the recon. We have the right skills. Let's get it done.
Ooh yeah.
We're doing a heist.
We're doing a
heist podcast.
I don't know what we're doing, but I'm pumped now.
We're heisting other podcasts, I'm pretty sure. That's what we agreed upon, right?
Locked and loaded.
Done. All right, you are listening to the Multiplayer Gaming Podcast, a video game podcast that covers the good, the bad, and the ugly as we talk about video games and gaming news. On this episode, we are covering PayDay 2. We'll start with a brief overview of the game, a deep dive into some mechanics, touch on some funny stories, and then we'll jump in to see what the community thought of the game. We'll play Love, Marry, or Murder, and then head to the leaderboard to close out the episode. Before we start, let me introduce the brains behind this mission, Paul.
Hey, Todd, you know how people say we only use 10% of our brains?
Mm-hmm.
I think we only use 10% of our hearts.
Get out of here.
It's science.
It's science. Just don't think about it. And I'm thinking about someone using 10% of their heart, and then they just die. And of course, his perfect counterpart, the demolitionist, Josh.
Boom, boom, baby.
Boom, boom.
Is that?
See,
is that
that's what I
up?
expect from a demolitionist. Yeah. You have the ammo, you have the explosives, in and out, through a hole in the wall.
I find it funny that you guys would trust me with explosives in a game about heists.
I feel like if we didn't give you the explosives, you would somehow kill us and take them anyway. So we're just going to give it to you in the beginning.
Okay. See, you guys have learned through our friendship how to handle me. And I love it. It's great.
It's true.
Yeah. Before we jump into PayDay, Josh, reviews.
You know, that's kind of like our payday, isn't it, though, guys?
Mm-hmm. Not money, but in reviews.
Yeah, we get paid in reviews. So if you want to pay us, you want to give a little tip for the podcast. Not like, hey, tell Josh to talk less. Not that kind of tip, but like,
don't give us money. We'll send it right back.
Yeah, definitely try that. Try that out, and we'll.
We feed off these juicy reviews for weeks. We don't need any money.
We do. So this is why we love the reviews so much. So if you haven't left us a review yet, please leave us a review. It does not take long. It's super beneficial to the podcast. And like I said, it's like a tip. It's, hey, throw your podcasters a tip. All right. This review comes in from the one, the only, the Hambone TTV. And Mr. Hambone writes, not bad. I've listened to every episode at least once and can honestly say it's one of the most consistent and entertaining podcasts that I listen to. I haven't been able to write a review so far that was fair because I'm also an old veteran gamer. And it's so nice to hear other prehistoric dinosaurs takes on modern gaming. Ha! Just kidding. I really am a fan and I wish my schedule lined up so I could watch or join up. Keep it up, guys.
Hambone had me at not bad.
Just straight out of the gate. Not bad. That's what we aim for, really.
There's a long pause. For a second, I thought that was the end of the review.
just not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Josh, I feel like he wrote that review for you.
You know what? Us old gamers got to stick together. We really do. Mm-hmm. Because
at the nursing home.
Yeah, but you know what? You youngins think that you somehow have an edge on us. It's like old man strength. You get stronger as you get older. Well, like, I get better at gaming as I get older, but, you youngins, you underestimate us.
All right. You're saying you youngins directly at me, and I'm 30.
Yeah,
so
but compared to me, you're youngin, so...
That's... I don't know if you're in the good side of that.
Well, me and Hambone are gonna hang out together and eat our Werther's Original candies and our butterscotches and
Charleston shoes.
No, those will pull out your dentures.
My grandpa had a great trick. He would freeze Charleston shoes, and then they're like,
throw them at people.
They're brittle.
Throw them through someone's window.
Yeah, he was a very angry person.
My lawn.
Oh man!
All right.
Payday 2.
Are we talking candy still? Does that go with the Werther's or?
Yes, it's. I'm saying how many paydays I've had today.
2 of them. Man,
yeah, I'm about to be on my 3rd.
You're a lightweight.
All right, let me read a description from the publisher. Payday 2 is an action-packed 4-player co-op shooter that once again lets gamers don the masks of the original Payday crew. Dallas, Huxton, Wolf, and Chains as they descend on Washington, D.C. for an epic crime spree.
I think these guys have robbed 700 banks, 400 jewelry stores. Yeah, it's definitely a spree, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Wait, are we still talking candy? Because I like Chewy Sprees the best, so...
Okay. Oh my goodness.
All right, Josh.
You can't do this the whole podcast.
There, I can't not say it, man.
All right, Paul, brief description on what the game is.
Yeah, so Payday is basically taking like the best parts of GTA or Red Dead Redemption. The best parts are the heists. Let's just blow them out into a full game. You select a job, decide how you're going to attack it. You work your way through a map to get to an objective, whether it's stealing gold or jewelry or drugs, whatever it might be. And then you got to move your bags out into some kind of getaway, and then you win, and you get paid lots of money. I mean, that's really the game in a nutshell.
I love the way you describe that, because that is so accurate. It's if someone took a video game and said, no, we're not doing any of the boring parts. It's only the best parts. Like, we're only doing the action parts to this movie. Who cares about plot?
Yeah.
It's only Robin Banks. It's none of the heart tug emotions in Ocean's 11. It's only the heist.
Yeah. Take the Julia Roberts character out of Ocean's 11. In this game, you don't even have to drive or find your way to the entrance. They literally start you out directly outside whatever your heist is, and you just immediately jump in and go. So the game is literally nothing but the heist part over and over and over. Josh, are you still awake, or have you fallen asleep over there? I know it's past your bedtime.
I'm just listening, and I'm processing, because it's one of those... You're right. I don't think there's a mission where they don't just drop you off right in front of the bank doors or right in front of the jewelry store.
You don't even have to walk around a corner. They literally, well, maybe 1 or 2 corners if you want to get to the backside, but yeah, they always drop you off right in front of the building.
It reminds me of like Dauntless. Do you know how like Dauntless stripped down like Monster Hunter World and made it just the monster fights? That's like what Payday is.
Or like Shadow of the Colossus. It's like the most pure, concentrated form of a heist game. There's nothing on top of it. It's just select your guns and maybe your method and jump into the heist. That's really all it is.
But you can do the heist a dozen different ways. Like I watched a video, because, I'm not fantastic at this game, of a guy doing one of the hardest heists solo, stealth. So he never got caught, never tripped an alarm, never did anything, and he's just running around stealth with like a silenced pistol, like he's Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. Is that the right guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's him.
it is definitely like you can play this as a stealth game, or you can play this like Josh.
Yep.
Heaviest body armor.
There's a reason they let you play that way.
It's a strategy. One of a dozen. And I swear, like, so when you're going in, you start off without a mask so you can case the place, and then you put on the mask when you're ready to like engage. Josh, within the first 5 seconds, I swear you had your mask on, like yelling at people to get on the ground.
It's a cool looking mask, number one. So why would you not want to wear it?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then I'm wearing a bomb disposal, like, body armor suit. I'm pretty sure
know what's
that's
up.
a little suspicious. Like, why is this guy walking so slow and wearing body armor? And is that a shotgun on his back? And I'm not going to go in and, like, be like, I'm here to make a deposit.
Which
Yeah.
I think it's a valid strategy to have, you know, different players in the game. Like, everyone doesn't need to go like sneak, super stealth, like undercover and all that. You can have a bomb guy. It's just you don't be the bomb guy and then you run in immediately yelling at people. You let the stealthy people in first and try and like,
is that an
help
option
with this?
Could you actually
like,
have
yeah.
one guy be? I thought everybody had to either go stealthy or everybody had to go fun play style.
No, if you wanted, you could just literally stand out front and let someone go in and do all the stealth work, and you can just wait for them to pull it all out. But
disarm the cameras, all of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, in this game, it does give you an option to go in through stealth or to go in loud. So you can even set your lobby to dictate what kind of strategy you plan on playing. Because if you want to go stealth and you get Josh in your group, I mean, I've already made the joke once, but Josh is the living embodiment of the Danny DeVito meme. So anyway, I started blasting. I mean, that is Josh in PayDay. We know that. Todd and I did some stealth missions when we were playing without Josh, but when Josh was in the group, we didn't even try. We just went full guns blazing every time.
I love that I didn't play that night, and you guys were like, so we did a couple stealth missions. And I was
Yep.
like, really? You guys did those
sure
without me? That's why you guys laughed at me.
Yeah, Todd and I were running around the docks and shooting people in the head, answering their pager, pretending to be them. That way the cops wouldn't come running. And yeah, we did stealth when you weren't there.
And
Good call.
I remember, I think it was the first game we loaded in. We were like, all right, guys, let's run around. Let's find an entrance or two into this bank and like figure out how we want to like approach this heist.
Mm-hmm. I remember this.
And then all I hear is,
Is this?
what happened, Josh?
Demolition expert, what happened?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Expert.
So number one, we had one of our Patreon supporters with us.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Drunk Cookies had hopped in with us. It was my first game in a very long time. And so we were around the back of the bank. We were being all stealthy. And I was trying to remember what my buttons were doing. And we found the back door of the bank, and you could like pick the lock or something. So I was like, oh, what does this button do? And then, oops, out chucks a grenade from my guy. And then at that point, it's like you can't pick it back up. Like if I could have reached out and like caught the grenade and taken it back, I would have.
The grenade detonated, and there were exclamation marks all over my screen because 95 people were alerted to the initial grenade. So we literally
they heard
started.
an explosion.
They heard an explosion.
Yeah.
This silent heist started with chucking a grenade into the back
For no
door
reason.
for no reason.
So that was an error on my part. I did learn what that button did though. So it was not, it wasn't all for naught.
And we still won the heist. I mean, that's one of the best things about this game. You can start out stealthy, but if you get caught, it doesn't give you a game over screen. You just have to adapt on the fly. So you know what? We weren't planning to go in loud, but it ended up working. So it did not prohibit us from carrying out the heist.
So let's talk about when you get found, the cops start coming, and like the cops surround the building, they start like pushing in and all of that. Like, what is that experience like?
Well, first, you got to start yelling for all the hostages to get on the ground, and you got to put hand ties on them. So that way you have hostages. See, this is how you have to think smart, Todd. You got to start taking hostages early because you're going to have to trade them to get your partners back if they get arrested. So the people do start trying to run away. As soon as the cops are alerted, you hear alarms or sirens. You start taking hostages, and then the police, I don't know what city this is. Well, I guess it's in Washington, D.C. They have a very robust recruitment budget for the police because they will throw an army of police officers at you.
Hundreds of thousands,
no joke. And most of them are regular street cops, but they will also throw specialized units at you. So they might have a giant plate shield, or they might have tasers, or they might go stealth and run up and randomly kick you and immediately down you if you don't see them coming. So you really do go through what is called a police assault. You'll see that in the top right. It's kind of like in Left 4 Dead when you get hit with the swarms, where you hear like the screaming and then the monsters come for a while. This has the same mechanic. It's just a police assault, and they will come in droves, and you have to fight them off for a few minutes until the assault stops. And is this your favorite part of the game, Josh? Are you just the muscle shooting cops while they come?
I mean, yeah, pretty much, because you guys know you can't go stealthy with me. So to me, the experience is just fighting off this horde of police that are trying to come and get us. And I mean, I built my guy out super tanky. We can get into how you can customize later, but my guy is a tank. And so I can just run around. I don't even have to really worry about taking too much damage. I just run around and shoot everybody.
You're just in the middle of the street, like the movie Heat, just taking on the cops as they come down the road.
I do hop out the windows sometimes just to try to clear the streets a little bit.
That's all fine and dandy when you're on like easy, maybe even medium, but as soon as you start getting into those hard and extremely difficult game modes, just having no punishment isn't an option, and you really have to try and sneak some of it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because the game does give you, I don't know how many difficulties, it's like 7, but if you bump up the difficulty, you do get better rewards, but it will also bring out more specialized units. So if you play on easy, you aren't going to get some of those specialized units I talked about. You get easier enemies. So when you do bump it up, if you are able to go in sneaky, you might be able to get a key card, or you might be able to disable all the security cameras, and that's going to give you a huge leg up for the rest of the heist. So you don't have to pull off everything with stealth, but you at least need to do... You have to be smart about it. You don't just want to run in guns blazing. You can play that way, but you're just making the game more difficult for no reason.
So what does the skill tree look like in PayDay 2?
I like it. This game has a surprising amount of customizing your character and your loadout and your skills. I mean, you get to play any number of ways. Like, I went tank just because I knew I was going to be getting shot a lot. So for me, that made the most sense. You can definitely build out for stealth. You can build out for electromagnetic kind of guy, like a saboteur almost, where this guy can hack into cameras and EMP blast things and take out electronics. You can build for a guy that can pick locks and saw through like ATM doors and stuff like that. You've got guys that can build out as like a team player. So, like doctor bags and ammo packs, and everybody around you gets bonus damage when you're around and things like that. So I want to say there's 10 or 12 different like skill tree variants that all have skills within them that you can play.
Yeah, 15. There's 5 tabs, and each tab has 3 different builds within it. And the neat thing about PayDay is that you are not locked into your build. At any point, you can save a profile and create another one. And you can always reset those skill points and build your guy out any way you want. You are never locked in to points that are spent. And that's one thing that I really love about the game. There's so much adaptability in how you want to play. You can change your skill set, change your weapon loadout, change your strategy on the map, and it makes the game immensely replayable. Because if you are just doing the heist part, you do have to have some kind of difference between the missions and the way you play. Otherwise, it would get old pretty quickly.
Can I just say, I love games that let you respec whenever you want.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I don't know if you guys suffer from this, but I do, where if I know that I'm locked into a skill tree, I won't spend skill points until
I won't either. I'll keep playing
until I know exactly the way I want to play. But if I'm not 100% sure, I'll build up my skill points instead of putting them in, because I'm like, what if I put 3 skill points in this tree and then I hate it and now I'm locked into that tree forever? So I just won't spend them at all. So kudos to this game for letting you respec at will.
That's when you go all melee, because you know that melee build is going to be OP in the end.
Probably.
When you have a hammer and you just start swinging.
Yeah. And then you have a bunch of weapons. I don't know if you want to get into that customization, Todd, or...
Yeah, let's go for it. So weapons.
Yeah. Pew pew.
We got 'em.
There's a couple of them in this game.
There's hundreds of weapons, and it's ranging from a pistol to double pistols
to triple
At one point
pistols.
there's triple pistols. You're firing off a pistol off the top of your head. No, there's a point I was running around with 2 Thompson machine guns like I was a gangster. I couldn't aim for anything, but it didn't matter because I just sprayed and prayed. But then there's snipers, there's assault rifles, and like mods on mods. Like there's a ton of weapons and just things you can do to customize.
Yeah, there are a ton of weapons that you can pick from. So one of the things in the game is that when you finish a heist, you get paid a certain amount of money, and it's split between 2 accounts. One of them is your cash on hand, which you can use to buy new weapons and weapon mods. And then a certain amount goes to your offshore account, and that offshore account money lets you buy and fund future missions. So as you complete a heist, you get a bunch of money, and then you get to go have fun and spend it. You get to bring 2 weapons with you on any mission, so you always have a primary and a secondary. I personally love carrying 1 sniper and 1 shotgun. That's the loadout that I loved running, because my shotgun was loaded out with ammo rounds that would start fires. So I could shoot someone, they would get lit on fire, and it would do damage over time, and it would also incapacitate them while they were burning. And so that allowed me to kind of just run around and do some crowd control while also doing damage. And then my sniper rounds had armor piercing, so I could shoot specialized units behind shields. And so that was how I liked playing. I loved the shotguns also because you don't have to worry as much about ammo. You guys saw at the end of some of our missions where they would give you stats, and it would say highest accuracy, Paul, 109%, because those shotgun rounds could hit more than 1 guy at once.
Which, your accuracy, through the roof.
Through the roof in this game. It's a shotgun. You don't really have to aim. But I did also throw a military laser sight on it, so I didn't even have to do ADS. I would just hip fire. So I'm just blasting the shotgun from the hip.
To find the laziest shotgun build.
Yep. No, that's exactly what it is.
Who puts a laser sight on a shotgun?
I know,
first
right?
time,
My
the
bright
first
green
time he
laser.
pulled out those fire rounds, I was like, why is half the map on fire? And I just see Paul running around shooting people, and then they start lighting on fire, and I'm like, what is this game?
Yeah, half the guys are on fire at all times. It's glorious. What about you guys? Are there certain weapons that you liked using more than others? Were you guys mostly just like assault rifle type guys?
I bought, as soon as I could, I bought the double Uzis, but those things fire so fast and they kick so hard that at most it's a second to empty both magazines on those. Just and then you have to reload them both. So it's like a second of firing followed by 4 seconds of reloading. And I was just like, these things seem great in theory, but they are not great when all I'm doing is reloading stuff. So I think I quickly switched to like just a standard AR after that. because I like being able to like pop guys from a little bit further away.
Yeah, I did a standard like MP4, like your typical assault rifle, couple mods on it just to increase stability and whatnot. One thing I did find surprising in this game, the reload times are there. Like, they're noticeable, especially on my dual Thompsons. It would take a while. It would take a solid 3-4 seconds to reload both of them. And when you have 5 guys like busting through windows, that causes a panic.
Yeah, the reload time in this game is honestly one of my biggest complaints with it. Is I feel like I'm spending half my time reloading my weapons. And I don't know, like maybe I'm just going crazy, like shooting everybody. Maybe I don't need to do that. But I just, like, I remember asking you, Paul, at one point, I'm like, how do I lower my reload time? Like, I looked at my gun, it was 3.9 seconds. So Todd was right when he said it takes 3 to 4 seconds.
That's insane.
And I remember asking you, I was like, how do I lower this? Takes forever. And you were like, oh, well, you can buy like different magazines that'll change out like the reload time and stuff, but I didn't have enough money for that stuff. So there's a lot of gun customization to it, but that was my biggest complaint about like the gunplay part of it was just reload for 4 seconds, reload for 4 seconds. And like when you're killing 1,000 guys that are pouring through windows, you're doing an awful lot of firing. So I don't know why that was so long. I mean, I guess it's realistic, so that makes sense. I'm not sure how fast I could reload an AR if I needed to.
Yeah, and you do have a lot of weapon options, and you can see all the stats. So maybe something that would work better is a more semi-auto rifle build out where you're just more selective with headshots, and that way you're not reloading as often as like SMGs. So to some extent, I feel like you can find the right weapons that don't feel as bad, but yeah, you can definitely get caught reloading, and it can spell trouble.
Let's switch it up a little bit. What are the different types of maps you can play? Because there's some goofy ones that we played that were hilarious.
So I remember playing this game at launch, and Josh played as well, and there were limited options back then. The game's been out for 7 years now, and they've released so many new types of heists. But one of my favorite is the Panic Room.
Oh, that one is great, dude.
It's such a cool idea because when you think heist, you tend to just think about either getting into the vault or telling a teller to empty the cash register. And that's really all you kind of think about. Well, there's one heist where you are attacking a drug dealer headquarters, and they have a panic room where all the money is. And instead of just taking the money in bags and running them out, you instead set off explosives around the panic room. And then a helicopter comes in, and you attach the panic room to the helicopter, and the helicopter flies away. And that's how that mission ends. So how cool is it that they use a lot of innovative ideas? It's not just simply grab the cash and run to the car, which is kind of how all the GTA heists work. This one, you actually might attack a bank, or you might steal an entire panic room. Or we even played some that were Christmas themed, that included Christmas presents. How great was that
Santa
mission?
one? That Santa one was insane. So you're in a mall, and there's a Santa Claus that had a little too much to drink, and he hid a bunch of paraphernalia around the mall, and you had to go and retrieve the information from the Santa to find all of the presents, and then get out of the mall with, oh, no, that one was even more epic. You blew the roof off, and then you attached cable ties to the Christmas tree in the center of the mall, and then you left on the Christmas tree with the Santa, and that was the goofiest, over-the-top, insane mission we played.
That was pretty funny. I just remember watching Paul punch Santa Claus to get him to give up the information.
Yeah. Tell me which presents we need to go find. Yeah, so obviously we're a family-friendly podcast, so I know Todd's using some euphemisms here, but Santa, he's a little out of it. You gotta wake him up a little and, rough him up a bit, give you that information. So we did not treat that Santa terribly well. I will say that. But you're bank robbers. You're criminals.
He deserved it. He gave me coal.
That mission just made me, I was laughing so hard through the whole thing.
And they're not always about money. Todd and I were rigging elections where we were going into election voting booths and, messing around in missions like that. So there is a lot of variety.
Bernie's making a comeback.
It's a bold campaign strategy. You wouldn't think it would involve, masked assailants.
And it was funny. It's like, if you guys get caught, you're on your own. No one's going to vouch for you. And we had to try and rig an election and tamper with the machines. And it was a multi plot line, multi-level mission that was pretty dang fun.
Yeah. And that is one thing that is hard to follow, especially if you're new to the game now. There actually is a storyline and each heist has multiple parts. But if you try to jump in now, there are so many heists and so many parts that if you're doing quick play, you're doing them in random orders. You don't really know what's going on. GTA Online has that similar problem, except there are just exponentially more heists in PayDay. So if you actually do start out funding your own heists and you follow through all the parts in a row, I do think that you'll find it more enjoyable because there actually are some storylines that you can follow.
I had no idea this game had a plot until you told me it had a plot. And that's when I was like, what? There's no plot in this game. And then you were like, no, there's a complex story to it. And then I went online.
The Wikipedia plot section is 4,000 words.
It took me 15 minutes to read through that. And then I was like, this is crazy. Now, I will say this, and this is spoiler free, but what is super cool about the plot line to this game is that it brings in heist guys from John Wick is a part of one of the plot lines. Bodhi from Point Break is one of the plot lines. So I started reading this and I'm like, this is insane. These are some of the most super cool movie characters that they've roped into this game, into this world. And I was just completely caught off guard. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, they had some promotional partnerships with different movie franchises and stuff, but they did it in a very cool way. And the game also filmed cutscenes and things that you get to watch. So Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad or Ron Perlman, these different big name actors also filmed cutscenes that you get to watch interspersed in the game, which really takes it to another level as well.
All right. I think it's time. I didn't tell you guys. I have a quiz to see if you truly know Payday 2.
Oh,
all right.
You're going down, Paul.
Pop quiz time.
I learned from our last quiz, no easy answers.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
So these are all
What do
difficult.
you do?
Shoot the hostage.
Yeah, that's actually something you can do in this game. So
it penalizes you.
It does.
Yeah.
If you shoot the hostage, it'll be minus $500. And I'm like, why are you taking my money?
Well, that and the police
Who's
are much less
doing
likely
this?
to release you if you get arrested, too.
it says
that's
that
true.
the fee is for higher cleaning after the job is done. So they're charging you more for the cleaning job.
All right. Question 1. The police department of Payday 2 can be very aggressive when the heist goes loud, always sending their best units to stop you and your team, which is not a name of a special unit present in the game. So I'm going to list 4. One of them is not a name of a special unit.
Okay.
Bulldozer, Cloaker, Captain Winters, Berserker.
Berserker is my guess.
I was going to say Berserker as well, because I'm pretty sure it's not A or B, but Captain Winters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Berserker. I'm going to go with Josh.
Both of you guys are right. I'm surprised.
I was really hoping you'd say Captain Winters.
All right, question 2. Not all of the game takes place in the U.S. What's another country that the whole crew travels to? China, France, Russia, or Canada?
Canada's too nice to have heists, so...
Can you imagine thousands of Mounties running up?
I couldn't shoot them.
To
There's
the
no
heist.
way.
Oh,
They're
hey,
just too nice.
sorry.
Hey, friend. Here, you're robbing
Sorry.
the bank. Would you mind just dropping that cash on the ground? I'd be like, okay,
Just let me know
sorry.
when you're done.
So China, France, Russia, or Canada?
Yes.
I know this
I don't
answer.
even know.
I know the answer, but I'm going to let Paul guess first, so I don't give it away.
I'm going to say Russia.
Yeah, it's Russia.
The answer is Russia.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. These aren't as hard as I thought they would be. Question 3. A player gains experience when they complete a heist, gaining more on higher difficulties. When they gain enough, they level up, gaining a skill point to be used on skills. What is the maximum amount of skill points a player can achieve?
I think it's 100.
Is this multiple choice?
120.
Oh, okay. Whoops. All right.
99, 100, or 110?
Oh, all right. I'll stick with 100. I think it's 100.
I'm going 99.
120.
Oh,
The
okay.
maximum level is
It's
100.
Okay, yeah.
But you can get 120 skill points.
All right.
What is the hardest difficulty level in the game? Very hard. Death Wish. Overkill. Double overkill.
Josh, I'll let you go first.
Overkill.
Yeah, overkill.
It's Death Wish.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it really?
Such a cool name for a difficulty. I just know it's the guy with the bigger horns, and it's the one all the way on the far right
Yeah.
for the highest.
I just like how
difficulty.
the options were like mild, very hard, Death Wish, overkill.
Yeah. They like did easy, medium, hard,
Yeah.
and then they're like hardest. What comes after hardest? Overkill. And all right, Death Wish.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, last question. I believe we're tied up.
We are.
So this can make or break the game for either one of you. The bank heists offered by Bane come in 4 different varieties: cash, gold, deposits, or random. Each variation, however, happens at the same place. What is the name of the unlucky bank? The options are Harvest and Trustee, Washington Vaults, Fifth Third, or Fort Knox.
Josh, I'll let you pick
No,
first.
no, you go ahead, Paul.
What was the name of the first one?
All right. All the options are Harvest and Trustee, Washington Vaults, Fifth Third, Fort Knox.
I'll go Harvest and Trustee.
I'm going to say Fifth Third.
Oh man,
Are we both
one
wrong?
of you guys won
Ooh.
the game,
All right.
and it's the brains of the group.
Yeah.
Woo! Harvest and Trustee's the name of the bank.
Very nice. Yeah. It's a very unlucky bank.
That poor bank. Moment of
Just
silence
do
for
not put-
Harvest and
Do
Trustees.
not put any money in Harvest and Trustee.
It is just a rubble, a pile of rubble when we walked out.
I let you win, Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all know you didn't.
Like Paul
I'll
knew.
take
like
it.
he knew.
I was relatively sure, but yeah.
All right, Paul. Do you want to read some reviews from the community?
Sure. I grabbed a couple reviews here off of Steam. So the first review that I have here is a positive review. A love story about 4 men and their inability to buy a drill that works properly.
That's great.
The drill breaks so often.
Yeah, when you're drilling into something, the drill will just overheat and stop at the worst possible time, and then you have to send a guy over there to like reset the drill, and it's terrible.
They make hundreds of thousands of dollars per heist, and they're using like Harbor Freight like drills that are going to break on them.
Used drills. Yeah, they're glass drill bits apparently. Yeah, that is funny. People do talk about that a lot online, saying, just let me do a heist that takes 4 hours that gives me a drill that'll never fail, and I'll do the mission. Just let me have a solid drill. All right, a negative review here that I pulled made me chuckle. I'm kind of surprised I can write a review without buying DLC.
That's very true. This game has how many DLCs? 5,000? 6,000?
I have it written down. Do you know, Todd?
Well, yeah, because you wrote it down.
Yeah. How do you like being quizzed, Todd? What's the answer, hotshot?
It's 200.
200 updates since this game came out in 2013.
That is so many DLCs.
And you know, a lot of people complain about the DLCs, but you can actually buy the Legacy Bundle, which is $16, and you get all of them. So it's really not a pricey game. So for those who complain about all the DLC, it does kind of suck when you jump in. I know that all of us were looking at weapon mods, and most of them are behind a paywall if you don't have the DLC, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, 200 updates. But one of the cool things, though, is that some of the updates are new heists, and you can still play those even if you don't buy them. You just can't fund and start the mission, but if someone else does, you can still run the heist with them. So you can still get all that content with the base game.
So only one of your friends need it, and then everyone else can just join his party.
Yeah, if you just want access to all the heists. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I guess that segues nice into the next review here, which is a positive review. PayDay 2, where the real heist is on your pocket.
Hey.
Yeah, if you've paid for every DLC, those 200 updates add up to a lot of money. So if you had been playing this all along, yes, you're out a lot of money. But if you want to jump in today, it's only $16. All right, next review here. I've got 2 last reviews. This is a negative review. Nah. That's it.
That's it.
16,073 people found this review helpful. Just one word.
Get it.
Nah, not for that guy. And then finally, last review here is positive. Do you like stealing money and killing cops? No? Good, because this game is mostly about fixing drills and throwing bags. Now, I will say the throwing bags thing is hilarious because you always have to run from your vault or whatever you're doing to run these bags out somewhere. And you can actually put points from your skill tree to have more strength to throw a bag farther. So throwing bags really is a big part of this game. They aren't joking when they say that.
When I was watching the guy like solo a really hard bank and he did it stealth, he had to carry 16 bags and it was probably 5-7 second run there and then a 5-7 second run back. So I started scrubbing through the video, and minutes later he's still tossing bags.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And one of the missions that we 3 ran together is where it was a 2-story building and we were stealing all of these ancient artifacts. And we just assumed we would have to run out the front door. So we chuck all these artifacts down to the first floor. And what does the escape end up being? It's a freaking helicopter right where all the artifacts were.
Yes.
So we had to carry all of them back upstairs. Yeah, that one was on us.
That was awful.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play with just noobs. If you just hop into this game, you're probably going to be playing with pros. But for us, we definitely made a couple mistakes. All right, and then we always take a guess at what percentage of user reviews on Steam are positive. So lifetime, PayDay 2, we're looking at 7 years of reviews. There's a lot of them. What percentage do you think are positive? I believe Todd won last time.
Todd, you won last time.
I normally win, so that's a safe bet.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm going to go with 86%.
Okay. 86. What you got, Josh?
I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to say 79%.
Okay. My guess was 91%. And the actual 87%, Todd was off by 1.
Hey!
Wow. Now, I will say recent 94%. So there, if you do look at the history of scores, there are little chunks of time where people didn't like the updates. But looking at recent, 94% still love it. And even 87%, that's not bad at all.
No, and it's a solid game.
So Todd,
for sure.
A winner is you.
Getting tired of hearing Todd intro this next section. You got to sing it this time, Todd.
Yeah, okay. Oh, baby. That's how we started?
Yeah.
You're listening to the Multiplayer Podcast. This is the Todd, and we are going into Love, Marry, or Murder, where we really get into the nitty-gritty on if we want to love, marry, or murder this game. You know, you can't marry them all, can't murder them all, can't love them all. And this is where we decide that.
Don't you tell me what to do.
The music's still going, so I'm going to keep on talking. All right, I'm going to just stop the music. Okay. Do I go first?
Yeah.
Sure, go for it, Todd.
It's a love. It's a fun game. It's not a marry. There is a ton of variety, but it's all subtle, and when you play with Josh, it just goes to everyone shooting everyone. So I feel like if I had maybe a different group that would be a little more into like the sneaking around, it would add some more playtime, but even then it would be like, we know all the missions. The wave after wave of cops gets old because it's the same thing no matter what the level is. It's just waves of cops, which is fun for a little bit. So I'm going with love. Paul.
For me, there's a long history of me loving and playing PayDay. PayDay 1. I played a couple hundred hours. I loved it. One thing that we didn't touch on is that some of the missions also have secret hidden vaults, and that was something that was also in PayDay 1. And so if you knew where players could stand and look a certain way, you could unlock an extra vault. And I remember just running with people, trying to teach and explain how to do it and running those missions over and over. To me, it doesn't get boring. If I start to feel like it's starting to slip, I just change up my play style and loadout. I find the game to be immensely replayable. I'm also on record saying that my favorite movies are heist movies like Heat, Den of Thieves, Logan Lucky, the Oceans franchise. So for me, this is right up my alley. For me, it's a marry.
Well, we're all going to differ here a little bit, guys, because this is a tentative murder for me, honestly. I know. It's a fun game. It just gets super repetitive to me. And the
shooting cops over and over.
I mean, the honestly, I would like it more if there was like less numbers to shoot and they were more tactical in how you had to take them out. But I view this game as a horde based shooter almost. And I know I'm not playing the stealth way and there's a lot more to it than that. But there's other games I'd rather be playing if I was going to be playing something. And it's not, the shooting mechanics aren't super great. They're not terrible, but it's just all mediocre to me. And I think the heist premise is probably my favorite part. But after you do one or two, like, I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you the difference. You walk around until the cops start shooting at you, and then you fight cops for 4 minutes, and then you just leave. And I don't really remember a whole lot else other than that. And so I don't know. I don't love it. And so it's a tentative murder.
you've premeditated, you just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, like part of me almost wants to say it's like a short-term love because it is worth a few hours of entertainment, but then I'm like, I'd rather play something else.
I will say one thing, it is more of an arcade game than anything else. This game does not feel like a shooter. It does not feel like a tactical game. It is very arcadey, and so there are a lot of options available that can scratch that itch. It doesn't necessarily have to be PayDay. So I get it. It is for me. I love it.
And I feel like I really want it to be tactical, and it's not. Like, I want it to be closer to Rainbow Six, where, you know, there's 20 cops, not 200.
Exactly.
But I die very, very quick. But I have to peek corners. I have to be very careful when I'm, like, rounding stuff, or if I'm going somewhere with open windows, like, to be very careful. Instead of this, let me run around and just like shoot a flamethrower shotgun.
Yeah.
I want it to be more tactical, and it's arcadey. And that's where I'm like, it's fun for a little bit, but then as soon as it gets loud, I get bored, really.
I haven't heard anyone make this comparison, but in a weird way, it reminds me a lot of Far Cry. It's very over-the-top action, over-the-top characters, cheesy, but in a charming way, and it's not at all realistic. You have ridiculous weapons, ridiculous heists. Yeah, it's very over-the-top. I get it.
All right, and then that leads to the question, is it worth the price? This game right now on Steam is $9.99.
Wait, really? I thought
Yeah.
it was free to play. Is it not free to play?
I think it went free to play for a while, and now it's back to $10. Yeah.
$9.99, Paul.
$9.99.
I mean, I murdered it, so I'm gonna say no.
Oh, my poor heart.
I know.
Yeah, it's a buy.
I've spent a worse $10 before. Especially if you have 3 or 4 other friends and you guys are looking for a new game to play and to have some fun and goof around and to spend 20 to 50 hours, like $10 isn't bad.
And they aren't a sponsor, but I'm taking a look at some websites where you can purchase the Steam key, and you're looking at $3.
Okay, it's
So-
worth $3.
It's well worth $3. Yeah. So you do have some options there too.
Cool. All right, let's go to the leaderboard. See how this game ranks up. Man, we have a love, a marry, and a murder on this game. I am very confused where to start.
Lately, we've been in perfect agreement right off the bat with the leaderboard, so I'll be curious to see where we all have to agree to place it.
All right. Valorant 17. Am I going higher or lower, guys?
To me, I hate Valorant so much, so it is way higher for me than Valorant, but Josh probably goes the other way.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Valorant frustrates me, but I think I'd rather play Valorant.
All right. So that's a way out. Right above it, it's at 16.
I would rather play Valorant.
Well, that's not what we're talking about anymore.
I'd rather play
Paul,
a way out.
how high would you put it?
I would personally put it somewhere in the 6 to 11 range.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather play it than Rainbow Six or Destiny. Yeah.
Warzone?
I'd put it around Warzone or Among Us. That's where I would personally put it.
I would almost put this below Valorant, and I'm not a big fan of Valorant. It's just like Valorant's more tactical, like to the literal other extreme.
Yeah, it's nothing but tactical. It's not fun. It's just tactical.
All right. I'm comfortable with putting it at 17 right above Valorant. So pushing Valorant down to 18.
it's more mindless fun. Valorant is fun if you're doing well and infuriating if you're getting wrecked. So Payday, you don't get wrecked. You just shoot people with your friends. So I'm okay with one above Valorant.
Paul.
All right. I can't believe we're putting this game below Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
We had so much fun with Keep Talking. It doesn't have to be a more complicated game. I think we genuinely had more fun playing Keep Talking.
I agree,
yeah,
100%.
for 4 hours, and then we were done.
400 hours.
All right, so we're putting it at 15, so it'll be between A Way Out and Valorant.
Wow, Paul really has some pull in this podcast. Do you guys remember when I tried to bump up Valorant and Sea of Thieves, and you guys were both like, nope?
No, because we hate Sea of Thieves.
All right, so we're putting it at 17, right?
I'm
sure,
good with
lock
that.
it in. I'll begrudgingly
Locking
agree to that.
All right.
It in. All right, well, that wraps up the leaderboard segment for our show today. If you want to view all of our rankings, you can find them on our site at multiplayerpodcast.com. If you're interested in finding out more information, you can find us at our website, multiplayerpodcast.com, Patreon, multiplayersquad.com, Twitch TV, multiplayerpod, and all of our social media, multiplayerpod. You can find us on all of your podcasting apps, and don't forget to subscribe or rate us if you're on Apple Podcast or an app that has a rating system.
5 stars.
That's it for today. See you guys Thursday.
See ya.
We didn't talk about it, but we did play a game with a hacker, and I'm just so confused why someone would be hacking in this game. It's not
Payday.
competitive. It's Payday. It's an arcade game, and it's like hacking in Broforce.
I've never
why
seen
would you
anything
do that?
as crazy as a guy hacking in Payday 2, a game that's 7 years old and it's
And
not
we were on
competitive.
very hard difficulty. We were only halfway, so it's not like he was hopping in and cheating on high difficulty. It was such a low, middle range mission.
So goofy.
Gotta love them hackers.
Yeah.